Hi, this is Gus Bilirakis, Congressman Bilirakis from Florida's 12th Congressional District, and it is my pleasure to answer some questions and give you some advice on how to combat the coronavirus. Now, I am going to be very careful, and I'm not the expert in this situation, but I have access to a lot of information from the experts, and I'm going to read your questions, and then I have some prepared remarks here answering your questions, but also I may give some more advice too, because we just listened to the President's press conference, and we've been on several conference calls with the state of Florida, but also with the federal government. So the first question is, there are so many viruses in the world, how come this one does not have a cure? Well, it's a new virus, and they are working on a cure. They're also working on a vaccine. There is a particular drug, an anti-malaria drug, that has proven to work as a treatment and possibly a cure, and the FDA is in the process of approving that particular drug. So there's hope as far as a cure is concerned. But in the meantime, what I'd like for you to do is go to this video that was compiled in part by Johns Hopkins University. It can be very, very helpful to you. So look at my website, bilirakis.house.gov, and look for that video that will actually address these issues. Okay? All right, the next question is, how can you tell the difference of symptoms between having the coronavirus and just a common cold, even the flu in the early stages? According to the CDC, okay, they are the experts again, the following symptoms may appear between the second day and the fourth day of exposure, the 14th day. So between the second day and the 14th day of exposure, you could have a fever, and I understand the fever, this is what I've been told by the experts, 100 or higher as far as the fever is concerned, a cough, a dry cough, shortness of breath. So these are some of the things that you could experience. But you need to contact your healthcare provider, your primary care physician, or a community health center, or various clinics. So again, everyone is susceptible to a certain extent to getting this virus. We have to be very, very careful, folks. And I recommend frequent hand washing with soap, 20 seconds to hand wash. And then I recommend social distancing, so 6 feet apart. And I also recommend that if you can stay home, please stay home. Your employers in most cases will understand if you're not feeling well, and you have these symptoms that are similar to flu symptoms, but understand this is a deadly virus, and it's 10 times deadlier than the flu. So we've got to be very careful. The next question is, what kind of cleaning products should be used to kill the virus? Well, the Department of Environmental Protection has issued a list of products that are effective in killing the virus. Rather than me guessing or giving you a couple of suggestions on how to kill the virus with these cleaning products, I want you to go to my website at bilirakis.house.gov. Again, Bilirakis, bilirakis.house.gov. Okay? And with these cleaning products, make sure you clean the surfaces in your home every couple hours. But if you have to work and you're an essential employee, so to speak, clean your desktops. And of course you are, and I appreciate the fact that you are taking classes, distance learning. I know it's very inconvenient for you, and and inconvenient for the professors as well. So thank them for doing this. And this is uncharted territory, folks, and we've got to be as careful as we possibly can. Next question. In terms of money, how will this affect me and the economy for the rest of the year? Okay, I can't speak for your specific financial situation, but I do know that millions of Americans are already experiencing financial hardships as a result of the coronavirus. We've already taken steps to provide immediate relief to individuals, families, and small businesses. In the first stimulus package, which we passed weeks ago, we have these initiatives. In the first stimulus package, last week we focused on strengthening the public health infrastructure in order to save lives. It's been a few weeks since we did that. We also set aside funding for expediting testing kits and vaccine development. Actually, we appropriated over $8 billion to do this. In the second package, signed into law actually a couple of days ago by the president, we extended unemployment benefits, provided tax benefits to small businesses, and created a national sick leave program for employees, and strengthened funding for feeding vulnerable populations like seniors and children. We were just at the Meals on Wheels yesterday, and we appropriated several $1 million, additional $1 million, hundreds of $1 million to feed our seniors. And it's very important. It's very important that our seniors stay isolated. But I want you to call your parents or your grandparents, great-grandparents, aunts and uncles, and make sure that they're okay, all right? I think it's fine to deliver food to them, but leave it on the doorstep and give them a call. Maybe they can learn how to use the FaceTime to interact with you. We've got to take care of our elderly, but the best way we can do that is to encourage them to self-isolate because they are the most vulnerable as far as this virus is concerned. Okay, we know that this package does not go far enough, so we've done 2 packages so far. But we're working on a third package to provide relief to individuals and small businesses. We have approved loans for small businesses through the SBA and the state of Florida. The state of Florida has a bridge loan program. So this is very important for our small businesses. And we're working on broader mechanisms to stabilize the economy. As you may be aware, the Fed pumped significant funding into the economy recently and dropped the interest rates to 0. We're working closely with Secretary Mnuchin to expand upon these efforts. I do want to tell you that there will be some relief for individuals, more than likely direct checks going to individuals, and there will be additional relief for small businesses. After all, they are the engine that runs our country. The small businesses, 60 to 70% of the jobs are created by small businesses. We're taking this very seriously, folks. The next question, should this virus change the way I see America when it comes to preparedness and planning? Yes, I think that we are learning a lot from this virus, and actually we did work to improve our pandemic and emergency planning processes legislatively last year in order to concentrate, get the expertise. These experts know what they're doing, folks. We have to give them the ability to keep us safe. While we always want to do an after-action assessment to see what can be improved upon for the future, this is a unique set of circumstances. As I said, uncharted territory. And I'm pleased with the way the entire U.S. government, coupled with state and local entities, have risen to the challenge and addressed the crisis. Since the virus can survive on surfaces, can you get the virus from a package? If yes, how can you prevent it? The virus can survive on surfaces. That's why I say wipe down everything, folks, with the medically approved surfaces. Some of the, well, we know, for example, that there are certain chemicals that will kill the virus, and use those chemicals to wipe down surfaces. You can use the products approved, as I said, by the FDA to kill those surfaces, the virus on those surfaces. And again, go to Bilirakis.gov. What is it again? Bilirakis.
.house.gov.
Yeah, Bilirakis.house.gov, and you can get this information. It is safe. Is it safe to get carry-out food? That's the next question. And actually, the CDC recommends people to use the carry-out food services instead of going to restaurants, sit-down restaurants. And our local health departments have verified that carry-out and delivery options are safe. So as far as I know, all the fast food services, the McDonald's, what have you, the businesses, Burger King, anyway, you know the ones that are in our area, Wendy's, what have you, Five Guys. I don't want to name them all, but they're doing a great job. And Chick-fil-A is one of my favorites. So do that, but also the restaurants are providing carry-out services, and they've done really well. The American people have really stepped up so far in trying to protect themselves, but also their families, their loved ones, and their friends. So again, let's protect yourself first, and also protect your fellow Americans. Get this information to them as soon as possible, or they have them go to our website. They can always call our office too for suggestions. That number is 727-239-2921. All right, next question. Since the virus thrives in cold weather, is it possible that the virus will disappear in warmer weather? No one really knows. Some scientists have indicated that they believe that will happen, while others disagree. Now, in my briefings up in Washington, but also the teleconferences that we have, I was told by experts that yes, when the warmer weather comes in the summer, we're seeing a lot of warm weather now, which is good. But in the summer, the warm weather will kill the virus, possibly temporarily. It could come back in September. Again, we're not sure, but we think that may be the case. So next question. If I'm having symptoms of the virus, where's the first thing I should do? Okay, first, stay home. Then contact your primary care physician for a screening. Okay, how soon after exposure can you test positive? The CDC indicates that symptoms can appear anywhere between 2 and 14 days. Okay, so if you don't have a primary care physician, call your local community health center. All right, now we do have the drive-thrus too. Not everyone can get tested. Not everyone is eligible for the testing, but we do have the drive-thrus now in place. So people will have access to these tests, folks. What are some of the ways I can change spending habits to build an emergency fund in case something like this happens again? Talk to your grandparents and great-grandparents. They've gone through difficult financial times, and they'll give you some tips on how to save money for a rainy day. And I suggest that you do that. Put away some of the money that you may be receiving, from work, what have you. But talk to your grandparents and great-grandparents. They'll give you some good tips. Now do it over the phone, because again, we want to make sure we keep our grandparents safe, because we recommend isolation for them. All right. Well, those are the questions so far, folks. Just keep safe. If you cough or sneeze into your elbow like this, okay? Practice that self-distancing, at least 6 feet apart. Stay home. If you have to go out, you make sure it's quick and practice the self-distancing. And make sure you wash your hands frequently with soap for 20 seconds. Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for keeping us safe. We're all in this together, and we'll come out of this stronger than ever. But again, it's a very, very serious virus, and people can be exposed to it quickly. So please let's do our part, okay, to keep our fellow Americans safe. Thank you, and thank you again for giving me the opportunity to give you this information.